Total Football Talk, final installment of our Super Bowl top 10s. And today, I decided to do top 10 Super Bowl blowouts because I don't think these Super Bowls get enough recognition for just how great they are, unless, of course, your name is Eric Lewicki, and then you put like 19 of them on your top 10 all-time Super Bowl list, which was weird because, first of all, you're only allowed 10. Somehow he had 19. But I digress. Eric knows all about these games, and you're going to hear some of these again.
17, get it right.
Oh, my bad. All right. Eric, do you want to go first with number 10?
Actually, let's just start with number 1. I don't even know where my 10 starts.
Okay, well, let me go first. I'm going 10 to 1.
You're going to go 10 to 1? All right, well, let me mark off 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I will start out with 10 then.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 10, biggest blowout in Super Bowl history. Super Bowl 29, 49ers 49, sorry, MM forever, San Diego 26, 23 points, and San Diego scored 8 points in the fourth quarter. So it could have been a 31-point blowout and be higher up on the list if San Diego doesn't score there.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, incredibly, I don't have that game on my list. And the only reason is because I really felt like, the Niners got off to such an incredible start. It was 21-0 in the first quarter. And then after that, the game, at least I felt, kind of settled down. Completely opposite of my number 10. My number 10, the game started off really nerve-wracking, right? Super Bowl 1, 14-10 Packers. What's going to happen? Max McGee's got to come in. He's come in, but he hasn't played much all year. And then they absolutely blew the doors off him in the second half, scoring 21 points with a 25-point margin of victory. Green Bay just beat the pants off of the Kansas City Chiefs by the final score of 35-10. And maybe you could easily flip this one with Super Bowl 29. It's just the reverse. And for me, as the game started to wind down, it was getting to be more of a blowout. Where that game, theoretically, you're right, Eric, it was over before it even started. So you kind of make a strong point there, but I go just by the point differential. Packers 35, Chiefs 10. Number 9?
Number 9, for me, is Super Bowl 1, Green Bay, Kansas City. For basically the same reasons. It was 25 points. It was the number 9 on the list.
Yeah, for me, number 9, Cowboys 24, Dolphins 3, Super Bowl 6. Miami never had a chance. It wasn't even close. This was Roger Staubach's day. This was the Dallas Cowboys moment in the sun. And Miami was never in this game. They were just outclassed, outcoached, outplayed, and outperformed in every facet of the game. And it was, as I watched that Super Bowl, and I have seen it because, again, I have that one, it blows me away because the most memorable play for the Dolphins, and I think this sums it up. I'm going to end with this. The most memorable play by the Dolphins was a 26-yard sack. They lost 26 yards on a sack play. That's what I remember most about the Miami Dolphins. Their quarterback running around backwards and getting sacked for a 26-yard loss. When your highlight is a negative 26-yard play, I think that says it all. Cowboys 24, Dolphins 3 by number 9. 21-point margin of victory.
Number 8 for me is Super Bowl 35, and Baltimore beat the Giants 34-7, 27-point differential. Baltimore just took their defense and said, hey, New York, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my number 8 is Super Bowl 37, Bucks 48, Raiders 21. There was a moment there where the Raiders had a glimmer of hope, and then the Buccaneers just completely snuffed it out. But
is that when Sebastian Garrett kicked the field goal to kick off the scoring?
No, that's when they blocked the punt, remember? And then they had the long touchdown to Jerry Rice. They scored like 14 points in basically a drive and a half, if you want to call it that. But then the Buccaneers just completely snuffed it out, and it was over at that moment. So my number 8 was Bucks 48, Raiders 21, a 27-point margin of victory.
Yeah, that is also my number 7. 5 interceptions by Tampa. I mean, the team was semi-close in the first quarter, but after that, it was all Tampa. And like as I mentioned before in a different segment, Oakland did score 3 touchdowns in a row. They went for a 2-point conversion each time. That could have been an extra 3 to 6 points, and maybe lower on the list. But they didn't convert them, and a couple of interceptions for touchdowns. Really put the kibosh on this game.
Oh, it was over before it began, especially with the sacks. I have at my number 7, your number 6, or your number 8. Ravens 34, Giants 7, Super Bowl 35. Look, when your only touchdown is a kick return, you got dominated. The Ravens essentially shut out the New York Giants. At least their offense didn't even sniff the end zone. I remember my dad in this game, because he's a Giants fan, going, the only thing we can complete for positive yardage is a screen pass. We're in trouble. And they were. Ravens 34, Giants 7. Again, 27-point margin of victory. That is my number 7. Your number 6, E.
My number 6 is Super Bowl 18. The Raiders just destroyed the Redskins 38-9. 29-point differential right there, and the Raiders were like, we're sick of all this losing, and we want to win a game for once. Yeah,
I mean, the Raiders were an iconic franchise. That's my number 6. Raiders 38, Redskins 9, Super Bowl 18. You obviously have the Marcus Allen run, but this really was the highest scoring offense in NFL history at that time, and they were held to under 10 points. Just let that sit in, okay? They got a kick. They missed the extra point, or it was blocked. I can't remember. I think it was blocked. And they had a punt blocked early in this game. They had the screen pass that was returned for a touchdown. This was embarrassing. And this was Joe Gibbs, as Joe Gibbs said, was the worst loss of his NFL career. He never got over this one because he felt like he did not prepare his team to play this game. Credit the Raiders. Great game by them. They're on the opposite end of a shellacking this go around. Eric, your number 5?
My number 5 happens to be Super Bowl 22. The Redskins 4 years later come back and whitewashed Denver by 32 points, 42-10, the Doug Williams game.
Yeah, that's my number 5. Redskins 42, Broncos 10. We already talked about it with the intriguing Super Bowls. 35-point second quarter, which was unheard of. All big plays. The Redskins ran their 2020 trap play something like 19 times in a row at one point. There 19 straight times they did run the ball. There were passes sprinkled in there. But 19 straight running plays all had the same name next to it, and Denver couldn't stop it. And it was evident. Timmy Smith, 204 yards rushing. Dominant performance by Washington. Eric, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Super Bowl 27. This is Buffalo's third straight trip to the Super Bowl, and they lose by 35 points to Dallas, 52-17.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say here. This is my number 4 as well. Again, it's a 35-point margin of victory, 52-17. How many turnovers did the Bills have in this game? And their only other touchdown, the touchdown to make it 17, shouldn't have even counted. Frank Reich was across the line of scrimmage. So it's embarrassing to think it really should have been 52-10. But yeah, I mean, Dallas, they re-entered the spotlight in tremendous fashion. You're number 3, Eric.
So really quick on this game, Buffalo had 9 turnovers. Both quarterbacks, Kelly and Reich, had 2 interceptions each. Buffalo had 8 total fumbles, but they lost 5. Well, goodness, that could have been worse.
Oh my goodness, man! And to think it started with a block punt by Steve Tasker. Remember?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. Number 3, Eric.
Number 3, surprise, surprise, Super Bowl 48, Seattle 43, Denver 8, 35-point margin.
Yeah, I remember this Super Bowl. I remember telling everyone it was going to be a blowout. That's my number 3 as well, Super Bowl 48. I only have one thing to say. When the game starts off with you getting a safety, you're probably going to win. When the first play of the game is a snap somewhere to Tacoma, Washington, completely opposite of where your quarterback was, and it rolls into the end zone for a safety, you got more problems than a math book, and Denver never recovered from that at all. I have a feeling your number 2 is my number 1, Eric, but go ahead. What's your number 2 blowout of all time?
My number 2 blowout is Bears 46, New England 10. 36 point. The Bears held this distinction for 4 short years. I have a little note here that New England scored their touchdown in the fourth quarter. This could have been a 43-point blowout, but alas, the Bears' third-string defense decided to let up some points.
It's my number 2 as well. Super Bowl 20, Bears 46, Patriots 10. And now that perspective can be put on this Super Bowl, I almost wonder if this should be higher. I almost wonder if, even though, look, I have my number 9 Super Bowl, the Cowboys gave up fewer points or allowed for more points. The margin of victory, I should say, was larger than that of Super Bowl 1, but it's higher than Super Bowl 1 on my list, and I'm wondering if maybe the same should be done here. Because the Bears went down 3-0. Peyton, as you said, fumbled. They had an opportunity for a big completion to Dawson on the sideline, but he blew his knee out. Then the next play, Stanley Morgan's wide open, but Singletary comes out of nowhere and knocks the ball away. It gets in his line of sight and he drops a football. And that was literally the last play that the Patriots had a semblance of a chance in, because they would kick the field goal to make it 3-0, and then it's over. It's 3-3, it's 6-3, it's 13-3, it's 20-3, it's 23-3. You have that fiasco at the end of the first half. Then the Bears come out and they make it, 30-3. It just kept snowballing. I mean, the Patriots had negative yards in the first half. I honestly wonder if this should be number 1 now. Because as bad as the Super Bowl that we're going to pick as number 1 is, point differential wise, it wasn't that as dominant of a performance defensively, was it?
Oh, but it was.
It was. Okay, Eric, number 1.
Tony Eason, 0 for 6 as the starter. And listen, New England had a pretty good receiving core. I remember always writing this guy's name down on a sheet of paper when I wanted to use every single skill player and be like, I'm going to Patriots today, and the wide receiver I'm going to be Irving Fryer in my backyard.
Yep.
I mean, Irving Fryer, Stanley Morgan. I mean, these guys were not no-namers.
No, they were the elitist.
All right,
they were elite. All right, number 1, without further ado, E.
All right, well, I'm going to give an honorable mention. And I'm going to give an honorable mention to Super Bowl 11. The Raiders won 32-14 with an 18-point differential. Minnesota. Actually, I think I wrote this down wrong. Gosh darn it.
That's all right.
No, I'm sorry. Wrong Super Bowl. Super Bowl 8, not Oakland. Dolphins and Vikings. The Dolphins rushed out to a 24-0 lead. The Vikings scored their only touchdown late in the fourth quarter. Fernand Harkin did a 4-yard rush. That was really close to being the first shutout in Super Bowl history for the Vikings to really get on the board. And, credit Miami, what they were able to do in that game to stymie the Vikings.
Yeah.
The Vikings would go on to go 0-4 in the Super Bowl. They haven't been there since they played outside at Metropolitan Stadium. So, who knows if they're ever going to get back? But I just wanted to give an honorable shout out to Miami for being able to do that and get so close to pitching a shutout in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Number one biggest blowout in Super Bowl history, Super Bowl 24. Denver probably should have gone back to the hotel before they even arrived at the stadium. 55-10, San Francisco over Denver, 45-point differential.
Yeah, the thing I remember about this game, and this is why I wondered you said, it was, and I'll take your word for it. But you know what I remember about this game, Eric? Joe Montana. The man was on fire. 5 touchdown passes, I think he threw, or 4, whatever it was. Perfect on every throw, with the exception of the one time Jerry Rice really got stuck. Just the man was flawless throughout. It was 27. Was it 27-3 at halftime? Something like that. I mean, man, it was. I just remember Joe Montana's performance. Jerry Rice, it just seemed like he was always open. Brent Jones had a huge game. Roger Craig ran all over the stadium. Tom Rathman. I know that I think Michael Carter had a touchdown or had a fumble recovery in that game, and I don't know if the Niners had. I think the Niners either had a defensive touchdown or had like 2 plays where they set them right up to the 1 yard line. But I know Charles Haley had a nasty game that day. But it was really about John Elway's ineptitude in that game. He was awful. I mean, I don't think he completed a pass. I think he was 0 for 12 to start the game. And a lot of those passes were short and in the turf. I mean, it wasn't even close. And he wasn't even pressured.
Well, he was 10 for 26 for 108 yards before. Let's see if you know your football knowledge. Who came in and relieved Elway?
Gary Kubiak.
That's right.
Yeah. Gary Kubiak did.
Guess who came in and relieved Joe Montana?
Steve Young.
That's right. 2 for 20 yards. Hey, he got in.
He did. I don't know. So for me, it's more of a memorable offensive performance by the Niners than more of a defensive one. But, I guess you're nitpicking at this point. All right. That's a wrap up for our Super Bowl shows. Coming up next, our breakdown, and then the final upload that we're going to have on Saturday is going to be the Super Bowl preview show. So stay tuned. Coming up next, the breakdown.